Hello and welcome to this latest deck tech for Breach Titan. Um, I've been on the MTG Valakut groups and I've been seeing that Breach Titan has been talked about a little more in terms of its consistency and its power as compared to the Scapeshift build. And people have been bringing up a lot of pretty good points. Particularly on the part of the consistency of the deck. In these matches that I've been playing, even though I love this deck and I think there's enough content out there on the regular Titan Shift build that I don't think I'll switch to that. I'll stick with playing through the Breach version just for educational purposes. But in my playing online, I have been seeing a great number of consistency issues. There are a number of games I've been losing, for instance, because of Cinderglade being a battle land and Forest being one of the lands that I have in play when I do cast through the Breach. So I thought that I would try to address some of the consistency issues with the build, and I made a couple of changes here. So I took out one Cinderglade and added an additional mountain. So now I've got 6 mountains total in the list. This is the full list right here. I'll jump to my sideboard in a second. But the number of lands coming in tapped, since Valakut must always enter the battlefield tapped, it is kind of a weak point. Cards that I never really want to see in my opening hand are Forest and Valakut, and these two together are just, I can't count the number of games I've lost where my opening hand was a Valakut and a Forest, and I had to keep it because it was slightly playable, but these two being in my opening hand together just really disagreed with one another when it came time to through the Breach. Another kind of weak combination of cards to have in an opening hand are Valakut and Cinderglade. Often 2 tapped lands with no basics or no ways to kind of get basics so that Cinderglade can come in untapped and still be useful, or have the other lands be useful. Like a tricky hand to keep is Valakut, Mountain, Mountain, Cinderglade, and then ramp spells. That is just one of the few consistency issues that I've been seeing with this build. I think I might, in a future build, I might have 1 or 2 scape shifts in the main. I might be able to find room for those as just another combo piece for the long games. But the thing with scape shifts is that they run 28 lands. I'm not sure how many mountains Titan Shift runs, but Breach Titan runs 3, 9, 13, 16. We only run 16 mountains. I'm sorry. I just miscounted that, like literally. 3, 9, 13. We only run 13 mountains. I don't know why I counted Valakut as a mountain, but we only run 13 mountains in our build. And that's great for through the Breach because then we only need to find 4 mountains, most of the time we only need to find 2. There only need to be 2 mountains remaining in the deck for us to through the Breach Titan, because the first Titan trigger more often than not gets 2 Valakuts, and then the second Titan trigger more often than not gets 2 mountains. That throws 12. Primeval Titan throws 6, and a lot of the time that's enough. If it doesn't kill the opponent, it leaves them susceptible to bolts or just the remainder of our top decks, which pretty much all more or less get mountains. So that speaks to the speed of this deck. It's a lot faster, but I've been finding in a lot of games it's a lot less consistent than Titan Shift, and I've had a little bit of trouble kind of reconciling the two. Even though I do like this deck better, I think it's more fun because it's more surprising. It hits harder, and just the number of opponents who thought I was just building towards 7 lands for Escape Shift, and then foolishly tap out only for me to come in with Through the Breach and Primeval Titan. Just I've won a number of games on the surprise factor alone of this deck. So I'm going to stick with the Through the Breach plan, but I do hear the criticisms, and I am experiencing the inconsistency of the deck. So I thought I would try to address that by removing one tap land and adding one more mountain. I also took out the Windswept Heath. That's what it is. Jeez, I don't know why I forgot that for a second, but I took out the Windswept Heath and I added in a third Bloodstained Mire. So now all of my fetch lands, all 7 fetch lands, get red sources. There are only 4 now that get green sources, and I don't think that I think that I don't think I'll suffer too much from that. I've noticed a number of games it's hurt my consistency that Windswept Heath cannot grab a basic mountain, and that has hurt me more times than Bloodstained Mire not being able to get a basic forest. Definitely has hurt me more times than the other way around. So now all my fetch lands can fetch mountains, and on the off chance I do need a forest, I have Wooded Foothills for that. And Sakura Tribe-Elder and Search for Tomorrow can fetch a basic forest if I am in desperate need of one. But there are very few situations where I'm really just begging for a basic forest as opposed to a Stomping Ground or even a Cinderglade. But overall, it does decrease the number of green sources in the deck and the number of interaction with green sources at the same time. So I hope that this helps my consistency. But I can imagine a situation in which I've got too few green sources. Now there are only 9 green sources as opposed to the 10 that it used to be with that last Cinderglade. So we'll see how it works out, but I think it'll work out fine. That's the new land base. I haven't made any new changes to the main board or to the sideboard. I'm still thinking of these engineered explosives. They've come in useful sometimes, but in some of these matches, especially with all the Stoneforge Mystic builds, I've been finding myself wishing I had a second Force of Vigor. Or even a Veil of Summer for blue / black matchups. But I think we'll stick with this for now, and we'll see how it goes with our matches going forward. All right, let's get to a new league. Thanks for watching.